or take two. I made a mistake in my first one, and that was just how I did the comparison piece. So I get this spreadsheet from UEX corp.space/ships, and you can download it over here into a CSV file and then put that wherever you want. If you have Excel, great. If not, you can use Google Docs. That's what I've got here. So you can track your ships here. I like to track a few things. I like to track my fleet so I can figure out how much AUC I need to gather in order to purchase those ships if they were to clear my ships up, yet allow us to keep our money for whatever reason. They may do that in 323. So that way, if they let us keep our money, but then let us repurchase our ships at the new price, then at least I'll know how much money I need in order to purchase those. Obviously, the prices are going to change too on the ship. So this sheet will become out of date in 323, but I can still redo the calculations and stuff like that I've been doing here. All right. Next, I want to do a comparison here. And my original one, I just had these top few ships here, these top five. But I'm going to take a couple out and I'll discuss why. And I think I included a couple because I think it was an oversight on my part. So first of all, I'm going to take the Hammerhead out. The goal of this comparison is look at a few things. One is the percentage of the discount you're getting. So what this is a calculation of is if you converted your real money into in-game money. So if you for every dollar that you spend in the store, you can get 1,000 AUEC. I don't think they actually sell a dollar. I think they sell the lowest is 5. So lowest you can get is 5,000 AUEC with $5. But if you were to convert all of your money just to get, in this case, 15 million, obviously that's $15,000. Would you do that? Of course not. That's silly. But it's still a comparison of what the in-game price is versus what you're paying in real world money. So that's how I'm getting this. It's the difference, the valuation between it, which is the split difference between those two. And so we'll talk about that a little bit, but I want to go ahead and clear out a couple ships. So one is the Hammerhead. And what I'm expecting from these big ships is for them to be able to make the money that you're actually spending out of game or in game, whichever. And I don't think the Hammerhead does that significantly. It is a fun ship, and I think it's good to play with friends and whatnot, but it's hard to say. I mean, I guess with like a group BRT, you can somewhat get it back, but you have to have other friends on with you. I mean, it even shows here, you have to have a number of players with you in order to even really be a usable ship. So it's really a multi-crew experience. If you guys have enough money to maybe throw it together and buy one ship, and it's going to go on one account. So anyways, yeah, hard sell here, but also price wise, right? So I'm going to try to rein these in a bit here. So I'm going to take off this one, and I'm going to take the 890 off. And I also want to note that I don't think either one of these two ships actually you can make your money back with those two in any meaningful way. I would also say this is generally the same thing about the Carrack as well, because when we compare it, next is with these ships, what can they do and can you make your money back? And really the Starfarer and the Carrack here kind of stand out as two ships that don't really justify their costs because you don't really have a good way to make the money back. Now you can do trading with the Carrack. You can do a little bit of that with the Starfarer. I've got the Gemini in here. They have the other Starfarer as well, but this just happens to be the one I have and I've played with. I like the idea of it, but as far as actually making any income for it, I don't think it's there. And you can see here at the valuation, it's also a little bit lower in price, but I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't think I would ever purchase this one out of the game. I think it's fun to purchase in game, but it's something you would want to work towards. Carrack, I think same story, honestly. I thought about this one, but it's just, I can't get here. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to spend this amount of money in a game. And so the valuation here is relatively high. It's the highest one here because you're getting a large discount, but it's just based off of both these prices are really high and you're having to pay a lot of real world money in order to get this. So yeah, when you compare this to looking at the C2, obviously the C2 is a significantly better deal. Now, the interesting part with the C2, you can see here with the valuation, is it's down to the point where it's cheaper to buy it in game. So the Vultures was 88%. And the reason that Vultures was 88% is because currently the price of the Vulture was so low as of 322 that it just made more sense to buy it in game than it is out of game. Because oddly enough, it's more expensive to buy it out of the game and with real world money than the Prospector, yet in game it was cheaper to buy. So that's where like the valuation just never really made sense with that particular vehicle. And that's why I definitely recommend buying it in game if you can. This would be a similar state here. I think this is too low. I think that you would need this price needs to go up or this price needs to come down in order to make this justifiable. Obviously, they're not going to do that, and I think this price is going to go up. Most prices are going up. I think there's only a couple of ships like the C8R that's the price is actually going to go down on it. Okay. Looking here, so if you start comparing what the jobs can do and how quickly these ships can make their money back, the 600i, I think, as far as I understand, could be a bounty hunter ship, and I would say it's actually better in a lot of ways more than the Hammerhead because you don't have to have multiple people. You can do it by yourself, and it actually has what, 4 weapons I think that you have on it. I mean, so it's actually regarded, as far as I understand it, as a pretty good bounty hunter ship that you can do most of the missions with, or all of the missions. I honestly, I think the C2 gets the same star of approval with that. But you compare the two, I would definitely go with the C2, because the C2 is not meant just to do bounty hunting, although I think a lot of people do that. It's meant to freight haul, and it's got a very good amount of SUs that you can freight haul with. You can look at the whole C and say, wow, but this one's got much more. Well, the problem with the whole C currently is it's restricted to freight hauling and planets only, because it kind of does an extension thing. You'd have to look the ship up, but and maybe I'll do a review on this too, I'm sure. But it kind of has to expand, like do a little transform to get to this mode, and so it can't land. I mean, it can. There's some people, I've seen people do it as far as landing it on the ground, but it's not really meaningfully meant to do that. It's really meant to be trading in space, so between space stations. So that limits the amount of cargo you can put on it, or what kind of cargo you can put on it. Also, it's hard to buy this much SCUs unless you're buying certain kind of cargo. So the C2 is really the trucker dream here. And for what it is, again, price wise, at least currently, we're looking at 322 prices, and I'm looking at futures. I'm not looking at future state here, because Carrick is supposed to be modular. I get that, but that's future state. We're not. And the other thing is, I'm looking at ships you can actually buy in game versus when I compare these, not looking at concept ships. So as today, the Reclaimer, I think the Reclaimer is a good buy. I don't know if you want to spend this. This is a high price to buy a ship for, and this is in US dollars for this particular package or whatever. But I don't know. It's hard to justify this. Some games have a high cost. Um, some games can quickly get up to like $200 these days, because you spend almost $100 to get the game. Then there might be like a season pass or some in-game shop stuff that they're getting people to buy. But try to spend some of these ship money. I'm never going to really necessarily suggest these. I'm going to continue to try to make guides that allow you to make money in game to buy this. Now this is going to, like, I think, double, and so you can purchase it in game, but still, I think it's better just to work with a crew or something. And this Reclaimer is a little bit off with this. Actually, I'd say it's 1 to 5. I think it's meant to be 4 to 5 and a later date, but I think 1 to 5 is reasonable. You can definitely solo in this, and there's tons of videos on it. I even have videos on it soloing. So yeah, the other good thing about the Reclaimer is I think it's gonna be like a kingpin industrial ship. If you like salvaging, this is definitely like a sunk cost for salvaging. You have to really like salvaging in order to go with this. So yeah, those are my ideas behind the salvage, or with the Reclaimer and the salvaging, is that only for those that really love salvaging and they want to spend a fair amount of money in it, would potentially go with this. All right, thanks for joining me. We're going to take a look through a guide here. I'm going to go tip to butt to the back of the ship. So here we are in the pilot area, essentially where the command center is. But yeah, so we have the pilot seat here, and then we have a claw on the right side here, and the claw is down below. I'm looking in space, but maybe I'll go land it later. We'll take a look on the outside as well. But this isn't the first walkthrough. I'm trying to make this as quick as possible, because this isn't going to be probably the first walkthrough. I wanted to focus a bit on the valuation, and so I just want to make this relatively quick. Each side, there's going to be beams. You have the ability to have a tractor beam as well as a scraping device if you want to do that. So up front is for fracking and pulling in the materials, so that's how you're going to get the construction material. And on the right and left here is where you're going to get the RMC, the recycled material. So you have to scrape this off the hull, take it down to the primer, but you can pull in the RMC from here. It's going to take more time versus just fracking it, but it can be done up here. So a 4, obviously a crew of 4 can be good here. You could just do it with 3. Obviously you just do it yourself. So I can just hop back before these different seats. And that's typically how you usually do it. So going back here, you're going to go to the first section for the crew. There's a scanning console here, but it doesn't really do anything. So this goes back to what I was saying in the valuation pieces. This ship in a lot of ways isn't done, or it needs to be kind of reworked, because the scanning stuff, it's just not part of the game. And then on each side, there's going to be 2 spots for turrets. You can see the ones with the handles here. So you can enter this area, and it's actually 6 separate turrets. The thing is, you can't man any of these 6 at the same time. You have 2 people manning sets of the 2, but you see it doesn't even tell you like which one this is. You have to kind of guess. But if I click on here, you can see it's going to put me on one of the turrets. In this case, that is the engine. I mean, not the engine. One of the, I think. See, sometimes I even forget. Like, I don't use these very often at all. If I want to get a turret, I'm going to get one of the other ones. I think I'm in the back. I think that's the butt there. I'm not quite sure which turret this even is, and I can't even back out enough to tell. Anyways, you can get a hold of 3 different turrets in this particular remote turret section. And again, you can have 2 people, 1 on each side, and then they have access to 3 separate types of turrets. And then at that point, it's just a guessing game of trying to figure out which one you got into. Wow, I think I just got into the same one, which is fun. Try this one down here. Okay, this is definitely the bottom. So this is the bottom turret. And so, yeah, you turn it on, you power it up, and then you can start shooting. But this is just, they're not super meaningful. You would need someone that's really good with it as far as a crew is concerned in order to actually get in here and get stuff done. Also, power it on. So you look to the left there and you can power it on and then get back to the turret. Sorry. So I'll get back to the bottom one here so you can see the Panthers are. So yeah, I mean, again, you can have, essentially you can have 3 gunners. We'll take a look at the other turret that's dedicated. That's the best one. But yeah, that's kind of how you would come do self-defense. There's a couple escape pods here, but they also don't work currently. So there is a ladder here, which oddly enough wasn't showing in 323. So I don't know if they took it out or if there's a glitch, but we'll take a look at that in a minute. This is the elevator to get into the ship. You can send it down, you can open the door, and you can send it down. That's how I typically load up into the ship. There's only room for 1 person now, so that's a little bit annoying. Here is the elevator call, if this isn't here, but this is the elevator's here, so we're going to go up. This also is a really glitchy elevator. Like I usually can't find, I can't really get in my inventory and like take a drink or whatever. So I don't know, and it usually shakes quite a bit, so this isn't the best elevator. Alright, so we'll make our way down here first, because I want to take a look. So up here is going to be that other main turret. So sometimes even, like if I have a mission, or if I see a ship that's, needs to be salvaged, but is left alone, like games. So some viewers will probably notice that this is going to shift from a space walkthrough to a ground walkthrough, or hangar walkthrough, because I got a lovely 30k on doing this. So we're hopping in the turret now. The way I should edit this, I should be able to kind of transition the 2. You can see we're back in the hangar when I was in the space before, or I was in space before. Yeah, so you can just power it up and you can shoot. I'm in Armistice now, so I can't shoot, but there's 2 big turrets here. Yeah, so this is the better turret to be in, and it's the one that's on the very top of the ship. So like in retrospect, you can actually see it kind of here. So this is the best one to be in if you want to do anything meaningful, if you want to bust down doors or something. Maybe you're salvaging a C2 and the door's not open or something. So this is the turret you would want to be in order to bust that door down. Because when you shoot doors and stuff like that here in Star Citizen, that allows you to bust them open. So yeah, that's a quick look at that. Oh, nice. That graphically looked awesome. CIG, great work. I was trying to catch it about halfway down. If you hold shift, by the way, you can actually like slide down the ladder. You can also go up it quicker. So this is the ladder that leads downstairs. So if you wanted to not take the elevator and manually walk down, you can take this stairs here. And I don't know if this is like jump drive or something. It's a pretty cool looking ball. But a few of these ships have this. Let's say a lot, but a fair amount of ships have this kind of like engine kind of, I don't know, power system or something. And it's interesting. So here's the drone area. This isn't really implemented yet, but you would stay here to be a drone operator. And I don't know if the drones, I guess, launch from here and out the top, but this isn't currently working, so we're not too deep dive too much into that. Actually, I usually go on the right of the ship, so we'll do that first. So there's a server room here, I believe. Again, this is more gameplay that's not really in yet, so not a lot going on in here. Alternatively, on the other side, you will find pods, more escape pods. There were 2, I think, below. For the 2 lucky winners, you get to pick those 2. Maybe the captain and the claw operator, draw the source from. Everyone else has to kind of like make their way over here to try to get off the ship. I guess it's made for 5 people. There's only 5 pods. Everyone else is kind of just like SOL. I don't usually push this button, to be honest, but I think it goes to one of the doors here. What's the light? All right. Look, we're exploring and we're finding new things out through this whole review process. All right, yeah, I spent a lot of time on Reclaim. I don't necessarily do all of this, like clicking on things and whatnot. So here's the cantina or little kitchen area that they have, and then in between these 2 is a docking collar as well. So you can use this to go out the top of the ship if you were to do docking. If you take a left here, you'll get into the captain's quarters. You have a cool little captain's seat here, and then another view outside, and then here's the actual captain's quarters itself. So you have like an office, and then you have like the actual quarters and a restroom, there is, well, we'll take a look at the restroom because it's not very exciting. You're still a vampire, so there's no reflection here. You have a restroom and a sink, restroom, and then a shower as well. And it does have that kind of like already used up vibe thing, which I think they should get rid of and work over. Maybe like over time it does this or something and reverts back to this, or maybe people can choose to have it as a skin, but I think it should just be a clean ship overall. I don't know, this whole like, let's be rustic or whatever, I don't know. I'm back and forth on it. I guess I don't really care. It would be kind of cool to get a new ship that actually looks new. Or choose. So here is a locker that you can use, I think, for like ship inventory. Oddly enough, it doesn't do anything now, and it didn't do anything either in 3.23 when I was testing that out. Here, alternatively, is a clothes area, but you can't like wear these clothes, and you can't put anything in here either, so really non-functional. These lockers here too, by the way, but I think a lot of this stuff is still not really working very much. So that's where it's like hard to justify the purchase of a ship when most of it doesn't work out. I wasn't even gonna say half of it, most of it doesn't seem to work. Crew's quarters here, you got 4 beds in here. Again, I think the goal is to have up to 5 people, and that's what that spreadsheet showing the valuation piece showed as well. And so down here you have a number of showers, and then we have 1 bathroom as well. So you can go through here. You have kind of sinks and stuff like that too. And then yeah, you have the crew quarters itself. So, nice little part of the ship here. Our way to the back here, you have the actual salvage moneymaker, and then we have a number of airlocks, and then a way to get down to the ship as well. Alright, so these ladders lead to the subdeck, where you can head down here. I'm trying to keep this relatively short, because this ship's just really big, and a lot of it doesn't even work. And this is another example of that. I think this is meant to be engineering. The ladders is just representative of these 2 ladders here. So I think both of them take you down here to the same area. There's not a lot going on. The ship components. This is probably meant to be like the engine or something. Again, there was that ball up ahead, so maybe one's like the quantum drive, the other one's like the main power generator. Again, this is probably meant to be, yeah, engineering access. So again, yet another area of the ship that doesn't really meaningfully do anything, or you never see because it's not doing anything in the game currently. We'll take a look at a couple of the bays here. I would like to see them revamp this. I would love to see this have really 2 things. I guess that's a big ask to have 2 things, but maybe a little more modular would be nice too. So we're going to go to salvage processing, because that's really the first. It encompasses both the salvage balcony as well as the salvage processing section, because we'll be able to show both. This is the habitation area where we came from. So you can see here, up here is actually the balcony part. So the other door goes up here. So it's not that much of a difference. I would actually like them to see them take this out. I do currently use it in salvage, so maybe I'm asking for too much here, but maybe cut it in half. Like at these like hooks and stuff just get in the way. But here's the money makers. This is where your salvage, you can have up to 240 SCUs of components in here, whether it's recycled or construction material. And then you print out the boxes and then store them within here. You can actually store them anywhere you can get them to fit, because there's actually more of a hold down here. This is also meant to be an elevator, and it does kind of work, the salvage lift. It doesn't work in game currently, but you can like get it to open. So it's really just like, it's kind of nonsensical right now. But this, like I said, up here, what I was mentioning, I'd love to see like half of this as a hangar and the other half as a medical bay. That may be a big ask, but and I would lose quite a bit of salvage area, because currently I could put 16 boxes, or I could put boxes of SCUs up here. But if I had to lose that for a hangar that I can put a ship in, and like you'll see R or something like that, and and a medical bay, I'd much rather have those 2 things than to have that bay up there. Or make a modular, maybe like 3 sections up there. Maybe you can make one a cargo, maybe a little hangar. So this is where that kind of elevator thing, the salvage thing, falls down to. But this goes down to like being an elevator. But this is where you can drop boxes down here, and then you have some additional storage. Now there's actually no lock-ins here, so you can't get SCUs to actually lock in here. Going down further, we have the cargo hold itself. And so if you were to load up all 420 SCUs, it would be both up there in the original salvage processing section and here in the cargo hold that it would actually create, and it's on this other side, that you would actually have the ship's components, or ship's SCUs go into. And it's small in here as well, and again, it's got these hangers that actually get in the way. So, because you can hit boxes on these, it's kind of weird. They need to just not be here, honestly, because since they don't really get out of the way, there's no reason to have them. And it doesn't, each of these sections don't even have, like, you can't, it's weird how the grid works in here. They need to just grid the whole thing. So it definitely needs a bit of a rework. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then you can exit the ship, and we'll go out. Actually, we'll do that because I came into the front. We'll go out the back here. So you just use this. You can then exit the ship. And if you were to have, again, multiple people, you have one of these on each side. And if you had multiple people, you would obviously choose probably to come in on this side because you have multiple people stand on here and come up this way. That's pretty much it. That's a look at the reclaimer. Here's some of the engines here, as well as you have the other 4 where you actually have your landing gear as well. So it's kind of like the ship like from Prometheus. So if you really like that, that could be a cool thing that you like as well. Thanks for watching.